lobster Newburg, crab-crusted salmon, marinated lamb chops with mint, barbecue ribs. These are a few delicious entrees I have enjoyed at top Atlanta restaurants with some lovely women after the death of my father in January 2014. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I love indulging in a delicious meal, and I love it even more when it is free. My father's death was, fellow Toastmasters, my father's death was very difficult, but his widow friends have invited me to dinner and brunch. Some invited me only once, others wined and dined me many times, 20 times. All of these fine ladies are over 80. It's not their age that counts, for they were all nearly low mileage and well maintained. You see, after my mother died, Dad was a gentleman and to many ladies who he escorted to parties and events around Atlanta in Georgia. Of the repertoire of widow stories to relay, I want to tell you above all about Martha and Mary, a close pair of widows my father dated jointly and individually. They were the loveliest and most beautiful of the widows. And it was a top priority for me to keep in touch with them. I didn't know where to start. I reached out a little bit to Martha, but the replies were only half-hearted. I then left a phone message for Mary, and there was no response. Another phone message, no response. I was especially disappointed with Mary because she had been the closest. She had kept it. I wanted to keep a connection with her because I'd known her the longest because she had been such a close friend of my parents. It was finally in the summer, a few months later, in the summer of 2014, when I heard through a family friend that she had pneumonia and was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Thinking of her a few weeks later, I sent a card. Mary did not respond directly to this, but the mutual friend Martha relayed her appreciation for this gesture. It was 18 months later, in the summer of 2015, when I continued to ask myself, will I ever get to talk to Mary again? Will I ever see her? It finally occurred to me that to have a chance to connect with her, I needed to do something more than leave phone messages and send cards. This was still on my mind when when one summer that same summer afternoon, I was visiting the storage facility where much of my parents' personal items still remain. There were dozens of boxes of photos and slides, which included the times of my father's times with Mary and Martha. The idea came to me. I will gather and organize these photos into colorful silk albums and print the albums to the ladies in the holidays. This would be an inspiring memory of the fun and camaraderie which my father enjoyed with them. I diligently started working on the album, especially for Mary, because her health was worsening and her days seemed numbered. Time was not my only problem. How would I break through the army of caregivers surrounding Mary, who stood between her and me? Initially, I wasn't sure of a good approach. Then I realized the key was her daughter, Lindsay, who had been an acquaintance growing up. We were very friendly acquaintances. It was a stroke of luck that I had Lindsay's email address. I prefaced my message to her saying how much I was thinking of her mother and that I was working on this album and would it be convenient to give it to her sometime. She responded very enthusiastically saying her mother would love this. And she responded affirmatively. Very encouraged. I finished the album 3 years ago, a little after Thanksgiving 3 years ago. Then I got in touch with Lindsay, saying I hope, Lindsay, to arrange a time. She told me her mother's health was in an upswing, and that was very covered. We set a date for me to come by. We set a date for me to come by in mid-December 2015. I arrived in the lobby of Lynbrook Retirement Home in my flashes blazer, dressed to impress. Voila! There was the daughter Lindsay waiting for me. She had brought dinner of barbecue ribs, corn on the cob, green beans, and peach cobbler. We embraced and took the elevator up to her mother's unit. Voila! Now, then the fun began. What a special evening for Mary, Lindsay, and me. We flipped through every page in the album and shared recent family events and stories from the past. Mary was thrilled to have this, Mary was thrilled to revisit these memories of parties, boating trips, and other memories and social occasions of being with my father and Martha. I prepared to deliver a simpler album to Martha about a month later. Despite earlier half-hearted responses, Martha responded to me very enthusiastically. She invited me to her house and then to dinner to a private club for a tasty dinner of filet mignon, Malbec, and tiramisu. We now stay in touch regularly. A threesome of widows I've also maintained a connection with, besides keeping in touch with Martha and the daughter Mary. Louise, Joe, Jan, and Sue, and they have invited me to establishments such as La Grata, Petite Maison, Endive, and Maggiano's. I did not hear from Mary again after delivering her special gift. She died 4 months later. I was very thankful to brighten the end of her life with special memories. I was very thankful to brighten the end of her life with special memories. My experience renewing my friendship with Mary and Dad's widow friends taught me a lot. Yes, chasing widows can be a source of fake meals, but most importantly, perseverance, faith, and creativity are important keys to special relationships. Bon appetit!